Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from our comfy couch here in the outskirts of the internet. It's the Gaming Saloon reviews for March 1st, 2026. Materials, please make it to a 448 and ramp it up, Salon.
Hi.
It's more Kyoryuger. Yay. We get our 6th Ranger this week.
Yay.
That's like... That now makes like 70% of our team assembled. Yes, we do get 3 more Rangers on this team. Don't worry, they all kind of just come and go like Ramirez has been doing. Especially because one of them is technically underage, so her filming schedule is legally limited. So she can only pop up every now and again. But yeah, it is 9 to 12 this week. It's all basically Kyoryu Gold focus. With like a small bit for Kyoryu Pink. Are you excited?
As excited as I can be. I actually kind of somewhat enjoyed these a little bit more, but I think it's new character syndrome kind of deal.
Yeah, that helps that we get Gold in here to just shake up the dynamic. First, when I was reading trivia stuff, I was reminded of something about this show that will take us an eternity to get to. So during the ending dance, they start having viewer submitted footage of folks doing the dance as well. At some point in the future, we're not currently there because at the time that we're at in the show, Wizard is still airing. The Gaim cast will actually be doing the dance.
Huh.
It's like, it might be the week Gaim debuts or somewhere in those first few episodes, but it's, if I remember right, it's Kota, Kaito, Mai, Michi, and maybe one more. I don't remember. But it's at least those 4 doing the dance, like right around when Gaim debuted. I guess also to give you an idea, the last episode of this batch aired with Wizard episode 33. So that's how far out Gaim is still in relation.
Ease.
We may have had Infinity debut within these first 12. That's kind of how like offset writer and Sentai are at times, where it's just like, yeah, Kyoryuger is spinning up while Wizard is like starting to wind down.
Which, I mean, that's not bad.
No. This is why there's like very little overlap in terms of like, hey, writer and Sentai are starting. No, not really. Usually, I think before Sentai ended, it was kind of like a Sentai would end close to when a writer starts. So you get some of the last toys for a Sentai show, and then you get the first toys of a writer show, and vice versa. As much as Sentai would do toys, basically the last few Sentai toys you would get would basically be whatever the last mecha is. A writer would basically be whatever final form stuff they tossed out the door.
Which is the real reason why they're offset.
Yep. And thankfully, I watched them 2 episodes on different days, so I'm feeling better about the show. Even though I did feel a little distracted at times.
I mean, yeah, fair.
Granted, it was mostly when, oh, they're doing the transformation, so they're going to do the roll call, skip. Oh, it's the mecha fight, skip. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not watching the mecha fights. Nope. I know how these all go. No. There will be like one episode where I watch the mecha fight, but it's only because the entire episode is the dedicated mecha fight. But that's like the only one you're getting out of me. Also, now that I think about it, I want to make sure something. Okay, we still got a while. I had to make sure we were on track schedule-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 20 will be our last one before we do the double movies and then go back to the show. Yeah, any thoughts going into these four?
No.
All right, then, kicking off episode 9, very strong, Paterai Ditto. Torin basically gives us Uchi's backstory. He was Kyoryu Gold during the Sengoku era. They were fighting the dead boss, and the dead boss killed his mates and his lord, and then he got mad, fought Don Gold into a portal, and presumably died. At least that's what Torin thinks, because he's also got his ejected battery that is damaged. So, as far as he knows, Don Gold killed Gold. If you notice I'm saying that way, you could probably guess the twist at this point. Into the city, Don Gold's attacking the city just to call out the Kyoryuger, so they end up fighting the monsters. Red and Torin also decides to get in on the action, fight Dogold. They fight for a bit until Dogold summons Pterodon, has it go into its person mode with big trash bag cape, as folks in the community like to call capes like that. It doesn't help that it's about the same sort of reflective material that a trash bag is made of. And in this case, it's colored like a trash bag.
I mean, if it looks like a trash bag and sounds like a trash bag, it might be a trash bag.
I can only assume they do capes and stuff like that because of all of the explosions and stuff they deal with. It's a lot safer than a cloth cape. Because if they do a cloth cape of any kind, that is far easier to burn.
That, or it's just a trash bag.
True. It's probably cheaper. So yeah, we get Kyoryuger fighting Pterodon for a bit. It does not go well. They end up having to fight it off a bit until Dogold takes some damage on his face. And we see there's somebody underneath it all. And then he's like, I need to go talk to somebody about this. Bye! Ami and... Oh wow, I can't think of Green's name.
Don't worry, I can't either.
So Pink and Green go after Dogold, try to hunt him down. They end up getting captured, and they're captured for like a bit. So the rest go there. Dogold and a new fancy goon basically hold them hostage. It's like, all right, surrender and we won't hurt them. And then everyone is willing to go on board except for Daigo, who's just like, fuck you, they're gonna break out. Fight us. So fight breaks out. Daigo manages to shatter Dungold's mask, showing that it's a human, and in fact, it's Uchi, because spoilers, when Dungold and Uchi went into that portal, Dungold basically possessed Uchi and has been using him as a puppet basically this entire time. And that's how the episode ends, which is episode 10, Zanda, Gold revives. Dogo repossesses Uchi, uses his big fancy attack that he stole from Gold to run everybody off. We also find out that Torin can only fight for so long because he's basically dying. His wings keep freezing up and he has to keep going back to the spirit base to heal himself. Poor guy.
That'll probably not be important later.
Nope, not a plot point at all, eventually, in this show whatsoever. So, Daigo leaves Nosan and Ian to figure out how to get Saragodon grounded, while he goes to Green's dad to figure out how to counter Gold's special move, which is basically to look for the shining light and then dodge and then counter. Which still feels so video gamey of just like, wait for the indicator to say to dodge.
Yeah.
Uchi tries to free the other two later, but fails. The two of them end up freeing themselves because Pink can use her feet to do stuff, which I am sure people are normal about on the internet.
Totally.
I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of very fan services things they do with Amy in these like 4 episodes that I'm like, yeah, no, the internet's gonna be normal about this, totally. And I'm sure the director is also normal about this. They are totally not putting their fetish on blast. Anyway, they show back up. Daigo, the other two free themselves, fight their way out. Daigo shows up to help. They end up grounding Pterodon by basically using a beast battery to turn Gabutira into a Brachiosaurus, so you could just grab Pterodon out of the air, just slam him on the ground. Which, whatever works. Then to save Uchi, basically, Torin and Ramirez decide, put our spirits in a battery, load it into the gun, and then shoot Uchi, and that will work.
Maybe.
I do enjoy the plan is basically turn our souls into bullets and shoot our friend with them.
But they're friend bullets. They can't hurt anyone.
Yep. So initially this doesn't seem to work, and so Doko goes into Ptera Dino to like start a rampage, but then Uchi's like, no, it did work, get the fuck off me, and then shows up, we see him, he turns into gold, and then he basically wrecks everybody. Because all the generals decide to show up for this fight, and Uchi fucking one-mans everybody and sends them all packing.
Except none of them blow up.
No. Bad news. Nobody in those none of these generals were blowing up for like the entire show.
They should have took a page out of Rider and let Gold finish right now.
Mm-hmm.
At least one of them.
Look, we can't because like the blue one is Black Steel, and then well, Dog Gold's his deal. We can't have him die yet, and then the other two honestly aren't that bad of people. Spoilers: the two of them are going to do a face turn.
Of course they are.
Like a legit permanent face turn. Just to tell you now, those two aren't dying because they're gonna be good guys eventually. Because if you haven't noticed, they're not that. They're kind of bad at their job of like terrorizing people, as you've noticed, since they're the happy people.
They're Sentai villains. That's part of the job.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be bad at your job.
Yep. But yeah, Gold cleans house.
If they had a competent villain, then the show actually might be good.
Yep.
Just
yeah,
saying.
Gold cleans house, destroys the bigger goon, and is like, I'm not ready to join the team yet, and then walks off. And that's our first half. How do you feel about our first half?
I still feel like if we're gonna have Gold schooling all of our villains, someone should have blew up.
Yeah, that would help.
Because otherwise, who's to say they were actually trying? I mean, we are talking about debut episode, so gonna have stupid inflated power.
Yeah, I think the normal is to give the Sixth Ranger super speed for their debut and then a never again. It's like, where was your super speed from your debut episode?
Well, I mean, there's always a give the new person the spotlight mentality with both this and Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Usually secondary comes onto the scene and just schools everyone to then be schooled the following week in the exact same matchup. So, and the same kind of deal here.
I would point to Nox, but Nox barely fights.
But his debut, he did school everyone to then immediately be outclassed by people that should technically be weaker than him.
Yep.
He followed that exact pattern. That's the problem. I wish with moments like this that it was a case of Gold came in and actually was just 100% gonna outclass all of the other five, and they had to either train to surpass him or get an upgrade to surpass him.
Which is what they're suggesting in this next episode, but then they back off on it and then don't bother.
And same kind of deal with Rider, same principle with that. I really feel like with Nox, he should have just been this ungodly powerhouse until Baku got the upgrade that he got, and then it's okay, now the tables have turned.
What you're saying is we need more training arcs in Toku.
Or at least utilize our upgrades in a way to where it justifies why that secondary was so overpowered.
Or at least more training montages. Looks at you, Hibiki, going, you did this right! You always showed Hibiki training, which is why he was so fucking good.
And could outschool everyone immediately after.
That man is truly built different than every other main rider in existence. He doesn't need to transform to whip your ass. That man could do it without trying. Anywho, shall we hit the second half?
I guess so.
All right, episode 11, Uchi, how cool. So Uchi leaves after he decides to refuse the team. Chaos creates a new fancier goon for Dogo. Dogo's like, this is only going to last a month. The Chaos is like, that's fine. We could just make more of them. Deal with it. We'll find something stronger eventually. Torin's a bit sad the Gold doesn't want to join up. The reverse is like, it's fine. He'll show back up eventually. Also, I almost found our next teammate. But I'll have to do that off screen, so bye. So Tori gets attacked, so they head off to deal with it. Kendarilla's doing it because she has a monster that takes out a bit of your spine and it makes you a fan of her human idol self.
Apparently, the love bone's connected to the spine bone.
I guess. So the team has to deal with the brainwashed people before they go fight Candarilla and stuff. But they can't deal with the monster they got summoned, so Cold has to show up and beat it up for a bit, blowing bones off of him like every time he fights, which I find kind of amusing. I don't know why they needed to add that detail, but I do appreciate it. But yeah, this entire fight, everyone's like, oh, he's better swords than me, and better at kicking, and better at shooting, and this and that and the other. It's like, oh, he's better than all of us. Oh. Daigo's like, how about you join the team? And he's like, none of you are worthy yet. Also, just as a subplot, Daigo looks like his old lord, which is why he doesn't want to join up, because trauma, basically. So he heads off, but Amy's mad about it, so she goes and follows him. And when she gets up to him, we find out that Uchi is just putting on an act. That this is all it is. He's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm bad at socialing. Surprise, he's an introvert. And he's bad at socializing. So more or less this in the next episode is Amy trying to teach him how to socialize, especially in the modern era. It gets him his new clothes and stuff. He also tells her about his backstory and stuff. Meanwhile, Nosan runs into transformed Candarilla again, but doesn't recognize her for some reason. So he gets whammied, and this leads to the rest of the team get whammied, except for Amy, because the monster's like, look, I don't do this trick on women, so that doesn't work. So you're gonna have to kill her. So they're fighting Amy for a bit until she manages to call in Uchi, and he shows up. The guy tries to do it on Uchi as well, but he's like, look, I can't do it on guys like me. That doesn't work. So, sorry. But it basically leads to Amy and Uchi cleaning house for like the rest of the episode. They free the others, blow up the monster. It gets big again. They Violet and Kyoryuger and Patera Deno. That's basically it. Amy kind of shows a little bit that she's helping Uchi, but tries to play it off, and Torrid sees right through it. Which leads us to episode 12, Attack the King and I. We randomly called open in some kids sumo match that Daigo and the crew are helping. This feels like a very generic Sentai episode setup, if I'm being honest.
It kind of feels like show needed to get back there and explain a little bit, and it did not.
It's like, we are helping this random kid that has nothing to do with anyone else in the show, but apparently the crew has been hanging out with this kid for a while because he's on a first name basis with everyone. But kid gets kidnapped. Uchi and Daigo end up following the monster into his like hidden village, basically, where he brainwashes the kids into being his goons. What's that? Daigo tries to fend off the kids, but it doesn't want to hurt them, so he gets cut up a bit. Also, neither of them can transform because the fog cuts them off from the Kyoryugen, or not the Kyoryugen, the mechs, so they can't transform. That is basically the short and long of the explanation they give. But Uchi rescues Daigo. They head off. Uchi gives Daigo his backstory, tries to put Daigo to sleep so he's out of the way so Uchi can handle this on his own. But then Daigo shows up with his Gabu revolver, biting his ass because he's like, the pain keeps me awake, and then eventually helps out. So they fight some monsters transformed until the gang shows up with Gabatira to break in. Then they fight the monster, blow it up, fight the bigger monster with Raiden Kyoryuger, which is Kyoryuger with Patera Deno bolted to the back of it. That is all that combination is. Energy decides to join the team because he's like, oh, Daigo's not my lord, he's my friend just like everyone else is. So yay, we have our full team of 6 now. And that is it. How'd you feel about the back end?
I mean, it was nice to not have, red focused.
Yeah.
I think I understand the problem that most Sentai shows have. They don't know how to write for 5.
Yeah, I can see that from a lot of them I've watched.
Well, even where we're at right now, we have had more character development for Amy and King than we have for the other 3.
Yeah.
Why? That's one of those why.
I don't know. It really does feel like even if I know the thing is like, oh, this show's red focus, because people say that Kyoryuger is red focus, and I go, no, it's not. Not really.
It's not, but at the same time, it's not what I would expect a team show to try to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, because more often than not, I feel like you get like red plus 1 to 2 others get like your bulk of character development and focus, and then everyone else gets their episodes or 2 of time, but otherwise they're in the background. It's hard to make a...
It's almost like they're writing this like it was a writer show. Just with extra suit actors.
Now I'm trying to remember who wrote Kyoryuger. Like I said, who did. Oh, right, Riku Sanjo, our old friend Riku Sanjo, who wrote Double.
Because that's really what it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Double and Derive main, and then Kyoryuger is main writer, and then he's done secondary writing for a bunch of others. So yeah, I could definitely see it.
It's one of those, I know toy side of it, they will probably never do this. But honestly, I feel like they probably should tone it back to 3 ranger teams kind of deal.
You know what's funny? We have a modern show that is that kind of. Yep. Lupat is 2 3-man teams.
But you just said it though, kind of.
Yeah, it's 2 3-man teams. Too bad. It's very clear one of those teams is preferred more than the others in the writing sense. As someone who watches that show and kind of likes that show, I go, yeah, no, the writers preferred the Lupin Rangers over the Powder Rangers. It's clear.
But that's one of those just straight, that's all they were aiming for is the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Could add a 4th one in later and it'd be fine, but focus is the 3.
We have an older Sentai that is just a 3-man team, and that's Sun Vulcan, but that's like the beginnings of Sentai, basically, when you're going back that far. I think that's like the 4th or 5th ever Sentai show. So that gives you an idea of how long ago it was before they even really did this idea. Hurricaneer might be kind of falls into that because it kind of starts as a 3-man team and then has a duo add on after the fact. Live Man maybe as well because it's that same sort of setup, but I don't know how either of those shows play out.
I almost feel like that would lend better to at least this form of writing.
Geki Ranger might be as well because it is a full 3-man team and then a 4th and 5th later down the line. So those shows might benefit from that. But there's no like real just here's a 3-man Sentai team that isn't like the 70s basically. But yeah, I'm enjoying Kyoryuger, but I'm also seeing where I'm like, I think I like Sentai on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching it like, here's like 4 episodes I have to watch for the week. I'm like, yep, I'm feeling my attention getting away from me into the 2nd episode. And it will only get worse if I watch 2 more, so I have to watch them on different days.
Yeah, and that honestly is better.
I'm wondering if that would have helped our run-throughs of Showa Rider.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
I just look at people who just talked up Black. It's just like, look at all the Black, and it's just like how great it is. I'm like, really? It feels exactly like how Era Writer is normally, which means there's not a whole lot going on outside of the cool, fancy stunt stuff they do, and that's only sometimes. I don't see what people see in Showa Rider. I don't quite grasp it because I'm like, even in Black, where I'm like, yeah, Kojiro's really beating up about his brother. Like, yep, he sure is. Sometimes in some episodes. The rest of the time, he's basically just doing what Hongo does, which is like, there must be a Gorgon plot afoot, and then goes and deals with the Gorgon plot, and then it's resolved before the end of the episode. And now that I say that, I think I get that hum you just had, because that's kind of what Torin does.
Yeah.
His malice sense tingles, and he's like, oh, the bad guys must be attacking somewhere. We have to go deal with it.
Yeah.
Damn it. There's the problem.
I think I also understand why I don't care for Sentai as much.
Yeah, it is basically Showa Rider for like all 50 years of its existence.
Uh-huh.
Probably not all 50 years, but at least some of the modern shows have basically been Showa Rider, and it's like, this is why I can't hard get into Sentai. I'm seeing the parts line up. Yep. I'm sorry to see why we decided to like why Sentai is like on hiatus if we're trying something different.
Yeah.
Granted, as much as I could say I've liked Project Red, I don't think it's anything outstanding. It doesn't help that it's still basically introducing stuff. So it doesn't feel like we've really gotten into the meat of the show and the meat of what's going on in the show. Anyway, anything else?
No.
All right, then. In 2 weeks, we'll be back with more Kyoryuger. But between now and then, Thursday, more CAD. Friday, it is back to normal with Cubage. With a, oh shoot.
Kirby Air
Brain.
Rider.
Kirby Air Riders. We get to see how vanilla Air Riders is before they did a new one for the Switch 2. From my understanding, the Switch 2 version is just better. It is just like they took everything they did in Air Riders and just did it better.
Makes sense.
Especially since this is the only Air Riders before that one. That'll be on Friday. Saturday, we continue our current seed for Multi-World Madness. Hopefully things continue to go well.
Hopefully I won't lose it on Mario vs. Donkey Kong again.
And I won't lose it on Fire Emblem to complete the trio of losing it on every single game. And then next Sunday will be TGS. That maybe we'll get to talk about an upcoming direct. Yes, that has been the conversation at the moment. It's just like, ooh, a direct in March, maybe. And I go, we'll see. Every time y'all talk it up, it doesn't happen. So like, eh.
When we don't have one in March, ooh, direct in April. Because if we keep guessing every month, then eventually it's going to be right.
If we call heads enough times, the coin flip will come out right.
That's how odds work, right?
Yep. Yeah, so if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point YouTube. Check it's YouTube archive for this and all our streams. Our run through of Ghosts is going up. I didn't put anything up today, but I've got Tuesdays scheduled. So basically for the rest of the week on the YouTube, it should be Ghost. Exclamation point social and chat gets the handles for our social media so we know we're going live. Exclamation point Discord and chat. This is link. Drop by, say hi. See you Thursday, folks.